Channel presents Phillies baseball. This afternoon, live from Mile High Stadium in Denver, the Phillies take on the Colorado Rockies. It's a nice day for a ball game here in Denver. We are expecting showers maybe later on. Shouldn't have an effect on the ball game. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy Musser. Glad to be working again with Kent DeCalby. Last night, the Phillies had a season-high 15 runs and a season-high 20 hits. And one of the participants was Kim Batiste, and he's back in there again today, Teague.
He's back in the lineup today. He's 3 for 5 last night, raised his average to 273. He did make an error. That's been the problem with the shortstops of the Phillies. But, you know, it was an aggressive error. It was a chopper in the infield, tried to make a good play, ended up throwing the ball away at first, but not the errors that we have been seeing recently. So Kim's back in there today, and hopefully the Phillies can pick up and just keep on scoring like they were yesterday.
15 runs, 20 hits, and they tell us, if anything, the ball carries better here in the daytime than it does at night. We'll be back with the starting lineups for today's Phillies-Rockies game in just a moment.
My teeth are sensitive. They hurt.
That's a warning. That's why dentists choose Sensodyne to help stop the pain that can make you stop brushing, could lead even to tooth loss.
I got the warning. Then I got Sensodyne.
Trust Sensodyne, the dentist's choice for sensitive teeth.
Cliffhanger. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. By your local Sherwin-Williams paint stores. The pros know. Ask Sherwin-Williams, a participating sponsor of Major League Baseball. By Mellon PSFS, the official bank of the Phillies. By Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages, no other book can match it, a Bell Atlantic company. By Texaco System 3 gasolines in every grade, System 3 helps makes a difference in your car's performance. By Coca-Cola, it's always Coca-Cola. By Cento Fine Italian Foods, the company that says trust your family with our family. And by Independence Blue Cross and Pennsylvania Blue Shield, carry us for life. And here at Mile High Stadium, the Phillies occupy the third base dugout. Sun out brightly as the game is about to start. Let's check the Sherwin-Williams starting lineup for the Phillies. Leading off, Lenny Dykstra in center. Batting second, Mickey Morandini. Playing second, batting third, John Kruk, first baseman. Dave Hollins, third baseman. Darren Dalton, the catcher. Wes Chamberlain in right. Milt Thompson in left. Kim Batiste, the shortstop. And Terry Mulholland, the pitcher. And we'll be back here at Mile High Stadium in just a moment.
Any professional painter will tell you that if you want results like these, you gotta know the tricks of the trade. You gotta ask Sherwin-Williams. Now, these are guys you can trust. They've got good paint, good price, good advice. Guaranteed. Want to know something? I didn't paint this house. The guy that lives there did. Hey, fella, nice job. This guy knows what the pros know. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
My mama told me you better shop around. Shop around. You better shop around. My mama told me you better shop around. Shop around. You better shop around.
I always go to the shopping center 9 out of 10 people use.
The genuine Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
Suppose you wanted to make a chair as stable as can be. Where would you put the legs? Right at the corners, right? Now, suppose you wanted to make a car as stable as can be. Where would you put the wheels? Right. That's why the new Intrepid is so remarkably stable. The wheels are pushed out toward the corners. The further we pushed, the more stable and sure-footed it became. Intrepid. This changes everything.
Do Texaco food marts really have everything?
Oh, they have gum, cheese, candy.
Many reasons I come to Texaco.
Chips, cereals, nice people.
There are many reasons.
You want it, they got it. If they don't have it, you don't need it.
Isn't that candy that pulls apart like that?
Did I skip something?
Visit your Texaco station and Food Mart for unbeatable System 3 gasoline.
Pop comes here for System 3, and I come here for Pop. Right, Mom?
And just about everything else.
I'd recommend it to anybody. And I would, too.
Ball game started at 104 for some reason, and the count on Lenny Dykstra is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lenny facing Willie Blair, who's 1-1 this year with a 3.57 earned run average. The only other time he ever appeared against the Phillies, he beat them in relief as a member of the Houston Astros.
And Willie Blair started out the season for the Colorado Rockies in the bullpen, 20 consecutive relief appearances. This is his 3rd straight start after being moved from the bullpen to the starting rotation.
Ball hit in the air, foul out of play. The ball is tough to see here in the daytime. We were told that yesterday by several of the Rockies and also several of the Phillies who had played here in the minor leagues. Now, they may get a little help today from a few clouds in the sky, but it's not going to be as easy to see it in the daytime. 2-2 on Dykstra. Lenny with a 6-game hitting streak. He's batted .423 during his streak. He's the only Philly who's played every inning of every game. Blair throws that one right past Girardi.
High and wide.
Very high and very wide. Full count on Dykstra, and Teak, there's nothing unusual about that. I think he leads the team in garnering full counts.
And especially the first at bat of the ball game, Lenny always very patient the first time around, trying to get a lot of looks at the pitcher, see what he's throwing, how he's throwing on a given day.
Ball 4. Lenny walks for the 33rd time. He's 5th in the league in receiving walks. And Teak, that brings up an interesting point. Walks in this ballpark will kill you.
Walks will kill you. Extra base runners and the way the ball flies out of here. Don Baylor's Colorado Rockies line up defensively with Andres Galarraga at first base, Eric Young at second, Nelson Lariano at short, and former Philly Charlie Hayes at third base. Gerald Clark plays left, Chris Jones in center, Dante Bichette in right, Joe Girardi on the behind the plate rather, and as we had already mentioned, Willie Blair on the mound for the Colorado Rockies this afternoon.
Throw to first base, checking Dykstra back. Lenny with 12 stolen bases in 16 attempts. And Morandini stands in. Mickey had only 1 at bat last night, got himself a base hit. And again, Blair throws to first. Mickey, of course, has not been playing lately. In fact, he missed all 3 games in the recent series against the New York Mets. The players, his teammates, were kidding him. They said, "You're the only guy in the league who gets 2 All-Star breaks." The Phillies have been having problems with their infield defense. I don't think there's any secret about that. Mariano Duncan had a problem at second base last night. So Mickey Morandini was inserted in the lineup late in the game when the Phillies had a nice lead, and he had a couple of plays at second. Mickey is a solid second baseman. They got to turn that double play. Choke on the bat and a base hit to left field. That's a typical slap hit by a guy who holds the bat the way Mickey does, and the first 2 Phillies have reached. We are indeed picking up where we left off last night, Teak.
Mickey, with his new batting style that he's acquired this year, just doesn't try to pull the ball at all. When the ball's on the outside part of the plate, puts that big bat on it and slaps that one right through the left side. So the Phillies in business with runners at first and second.
Here's John Kruk carrying the league's 3rd best batting average. He's hitting at .362, 5 homers, 28 runs batted in. Kruk's been walking a lot lately. 17 walks in the last 13 games. 2 on, nobody out. The Phillies came in with 4 in the first inning last night. They had a 6-run 4th and a 4-run 9th. A little bit inside. Ball 1 on Kruk.
It's interesting. Lenny Dykstra leading off the game with a walk. Willie Blair in his previous 2 starts had only walked 2 batters. For him to be effective, he has to stay ahead in the count and be able to work the strike zone. Really doesn't have an overpowering pitch. He throws a fastball, a slider, and a split finger.
Ball's behind here, 2-0. You know, the Phillies are really interesting this year because they are aggressive hitters. You know, all you have to do is just look at their hitting records and you know that, but they also are taking the walks.
Well, I think it's a sign of confidence in the guy that's hitting behind you. You know that if you take the walk, the guy behind you is going to get the job done, and it's really truly a team effort the way the Phillies have put their offense together this year.
Ball 3, 3-0. So in other words, normally when a guy is over-aggressive at the plate and goes out of the strike zone, it's because he feels he has to do it all.
Well, he feels that he has to drive in a run. You know, in a situation like this, for example, John Kruk would see a guy at second base and say, hey, I got to drive that run in because if I don't get him in, we might not get him in. Well, Dave Hollins is hitting well behind Hollins, Dalton, behind Dalton, Chamberlain. Everybody just passes it on. If they don't want to pitch to him, as is the case right here, take the walk, put the runners on base, and let the next guy drive in a couple runs.
They are loaded with nobody out. And Larry Bernard, who has worn a trail from the dugout to the mound, you know, you talk about the very, very tall grass here, and it is tall. But before the season's over, there's going to be a little path right where he's walking right now.
Well, this stadium is going to cause pitching coaches from both sides to make a lot of trips to the mound. The light air, number one, the ball carries well. Number two, because of the spaciousness of the outfield, the outfielders have to play so deep and are spread so far apart that there's just acres and acres of land out there for the ball to fall into. So a very difficult park for pitchers to work in here. If you can get the ball on the ground, the infield grass will suck it up. It's a much taller grass now than it was early in the season. They said early in the season it was very fast. Now the grass has grown. You can get a break on some ground balls, but anything that's hit in the air, routine outs last night were dropping in front of the outfielders because they have to play so daggone deep in this ballpark.
It is a dilemma, no doubt about it, but you could hardly build a smaller ballpark here because of the light air. Hollins takes a strike on the outside corner, and Blair gets the benefit of that call. Hollins at 305, 7 homers, 40 RBIs. He is third in the league in RBIs and just one behind Dalton. A potential for a big first inning again today for the Phils. Pickoff, think, and look at second base, but no throw.
Interesting quote in the paper today from former Philly Bruce Ruffin, who pitched 4 very good innings last night, saying that, you know, pitching in this ballpark is like pitching in Wrigley Field every day with the wind blowing out. Well, I'll agree to that to a certain point, the way the ball carries here, but in Wrigley Field, at least the fielders are a lot closer together and can cover a lot more of the fair area in the playing field. Here, there are just huge areas for the ball to fall in, and the gaps in the outfield are huge.
Hollins tied a career high last night with 3 doubles in that ball game. And he really picked on Butch Henry. He's 9 for 10 in his career off the guy who started the game for Colorado last night, Henry. Hollins strikes out for the first out of the afternoon.
Blair gets out in front of Hollins, comes with the split finger. See the off-speed pitch tailing down and away from David, not able to get out there and get it. The one-handed swing.
In steps Darren Dalton. Darren was not walked last night, but he still leads the league with 42 of them. His 41 RBIs places him second, as does his 12 home runs. He's hitting .240. Bases loaded and 1 out. It's a real dilemma for a pitcher, and you're facing the heart of this Phillies batting order.
Well, there just are no soft spots in the middle of this lineup. There, in fact, top to bottom, you really have a tough time finding a soft spot in the Philly lineup. It's, if you get past one guy, you just get another guy who's just as tough right behind him.
That's ball 2, 2-0. Dalton has already proved this year, obviously by 42 walks, that he'll take one, and we've seen him walk with the bases loaded on 2 occasions this year. Dalton hit a 2-run home run here last night in the first inning. High fly to left field, a play for Clark. He's there. Dykstra tags, and the Phillies lead 1-0 on a sacrifice fly run batted in. Dalton has just tied for the league lead in RBIs. That's his 42nd. He and Matt Williams each with 42 runs batted in.
Lenny Dykstra scores the first run of the game for the Phillies. And as was the case last night, before the Rockies come to bat, they're already in the hole.
Still runners first and second now, and Wes Chamberlain will bat. He had a big night here last night. Wes had an RBI single and a 2-run home run. Wes at 273. He's hit 6 homers. 5 of them have been on the road. Inside, ball 1 on Chamberlain. San Francisco leading Atlanta today 3-1. They're in the bottom of the 4th. The Cubs are ahead of Montreal 4-2. They're in the 6th. Fly ball right field. Bichette coming in. He squeezes it for the final out, and the Rockies probably thanking the heavens above that the Phillies got just one. One hit, 2 men left on base at the end of the half inning. Phillies won. The Rockies coming up.
This is your world, genuine and true. You're the one who keeps coming through, 'cause you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your. Proud to be your bud. Do you want your car done right?
If you want your car done right, it has to be done by the right people.
We take care of our customers. We do the job right.
Quality all the way.
Experience counts. The customer comes first.
Satisfaction guaranteed. We're only as good as our people. That's why Jiffy Lube is America's favorite oil change.
We got experience at Jiffy Lube.
The Sherwin-Williams starting lineup for the Rockies. Eric Young leads off and plays second. Joe Girardi is the catcher. Dante Bichette. Then Andres Galarraga. Charlie Hayes, who celebrates his 28th birthday today. Gerald Clark. Chris Jones. Nelson Liriano. And pitcher Willie Blair.
And defensively for the Phillies this afternoon, John Kruk is at first base. Mickey Morandini at second, Kim Batiste at short, and David Hollins at third. Milt Thompson plays left field this afternoon with Lenny Dykstra in center and Wes Chamberlain in right. As usual, Darren Dalton is behind the plate, and on the mound, 30-year-old left-hander Terry Mulholland. Terry's last start was this past Sunday against the Expos. In that game, the Phillies won 14-7. Terry pitched 5 innings. Gave up 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. Only 2 hits, walked 3, struck out 4. Now in that game he had to come out after the 5 innings because of still having problems with that left foot, the inflammation in the left foot that caused him to be scratched the start before. So we'll keep an eye on Terry and see how that foot reacts this afternoon. I did have the binoculars on him when he was warming up down in the bullpen, and it did not appear to be bothering him. But we'll just have to see as the pitches mount up how his foot reacts this afternoon.
Ron Barnes is the home plate umpire. Steve Ripley has first, Tom Hallion at second, and Jim Quick at third. Terry told me he wore the new orthotic for the first 2 innings in his last start, but it was bothering him more than the foot, and he took it out and pitched the last 3 innings without it. I don't think he has it on today. This is Eric Young, batting .263 with a homer and 15 runs batted in. He's a guy you want to keep off the base paths because he's a typical leadoff guy. He'll steal a base. He will make things happen out there. Out of the Dodger organization. Phillies lead 1-0.
Don Baylor believes in the running game. He is, we noticed last night, 5 runs down late in the ball game. He was still pushing those runners around the bases. So in this ballpark, Baylor is going to keep pushing with that running game.
Terry falls behind 3-0. And he walks him. Terry walked the leadoff batter against Montreal on Sunday. So you worry a little bit because that's not typical Mulholland to come out and walk the leadoff guy, and he's done it 2 starts in a row. Johnny Padres, Phillies pitching coach, gets a little antsy right from the outset. Here's Joe Girardi. Is this the new thing in the National League? The bat catcher's second. The Mets are doing it, and now the Rockies are doing it.
Greg Biggio on occasion down in Houston has batted out of the 2-hole.
He is a second baseman, Teague.
Well, he was a catcher when he was batting out of the 2-hole, though.
Well, that's true. Girardi takes a strike. He's always been a tough out for the Phillies. This guy's got a .350 lifetime average against the Phillies. Most of those at-bats coming when he was a member of the Cubs. He's from the Chicago area and graduated with honors from Northwestern. Breaking ball. Terry fools Girardi. Girardi's batting .333 off Terry, 4 hits and 12 at-bats. 0-2 on Joe. Dante Bichette on deck. Most of these Rockies have not faced Terry. Only 3 of them have. One and 2. Girardi starting to throw out some runners too. Earlier in the year they were running practically at will on these Rockies, but he started to throw a lot better from behind the plate. Ground ball hit to second. There's one out. Throw to first. They get a double play. Amazing. That was not a double play ball, except that Young ran into it.
Yeah, bad base running by Eric Young right here. Mickey Morandini comes up, makes the play. If Young stops and makes Morandini throw the ball to second base, the Phillies probably do not get 2 because it will take longer, but he keeps running on down the line. Mickey able to tag him and get the easy out at first base. So a base running blunder by the Rockies, and the Phillies get 2, and now we have 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the first.
And that certainly picks up a pitcher who walks the leadoff batter. Bichette's at the plate. High fly, left field, or just back of the infield, left side more accurately. Kim Batiste puts it away for the final out. Bichette out on a pop-up, and down go the Rockies. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. And at the end of 1-0 Phillies.
It's out there. Tonight's winning daily number is out there. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and play it. The Pennsylvania Lottery's daily number. Don't forget to play every day.
Along with 50 other standard amenities, the Nissan Maxima GXE has a keyless entry system on the door. This system allows you to unlock doors, open the trunk, and even open windows automatically. But if you think the door is impressive, just imagine what's behind it. Now you can lease a Maxima for just $1,000 down and $269 a month for 24 months.
Make a note to make history when the Colorado Rockies come to town for the first time. Friday, June 4th, Saturday, June 5th, and get a big beach towel free 1:35 Sunday afternoon, June 6th. Then it's the Astros, June 7th, 8th, and 9th. Order your tickets in advance. Call 463-1000.
Cento Italian Food Products rooting for the Phillies again this season. For every Phillies home run, Cento donates $200 to the Philadelphia Child Guidance Clinic. Cento has a full line of quality Italian tomatoes, all-purpose crushed tomatoes, tomato puree, Italian peeled tomatoes. We have a gorgeous blue sky overhead right now. We had clouds around this morning. They say there is the possibility of a thunderstorm, but it sure doesn't look like it now. As we go to the second inning and the Phillies up 1-0, here's Milt Thompson. Little chopper on the grass. He could beat it out. Blair gets him on a close play. When that ball gets in that grass in front of the plate, sometimes you don't even see all of the ball. Milt smelled a hit there and nearly got one.
Looking on the ground during batting practice, a few of the balls laying around the infield, and actually the only thing you see is the top half of the ball once it rolls out into that grass area. Milt tops this one just out in front of the plate. Blair comes in, gets the ball to first base, beats Milty by about a half a step. But it was funny when you looked at the baseballs, because when they were laying in the grass, you only saw the top half of the ball, so you're naturally going to grab and reach for the top half of the ball. We saw that happen to Darren Dalton last night.
Here's Batiste, 3 hits in the ball game last night, tying a career high. It's only the 5th game that Kim has started. He's had hits in all 4 of his previous starts. Billy's looking for somebody who can grab hold and take that shortstop job. Ball and a strike on Batty.
The problem, at least to this point, with the shortstop job has been grabbing hold. I've not been able to grab hold of a high enough percentage of those ground balls.
That's nicely put. Foul back. Well, Bill Gallagher is here from the game today. He's from Southwest Philadelphia and says hi to his mom, Mary Dougherty, back in Philadelphia. Willie Blair, 27 years of age, from Paintsville, Kentucky. Previously played with Toronto, Cleveland, and Houston. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Batiste. Blair 6'1", 185 pounds. He was first drafted by Toronto back in June of '86. Batiste does a nice job of working a full count.
Kim can figure a way to get on. That will give Terry Mulholland the luxury of sacrificing rather than having to swing the bat trying to get a base hit.
Pop up, shallow right. Well, it's not shallow the way the ball carries here. It looked like it was going to be shallow, but that's pretty far out there. Bichette makes the play, and there are 2 outs.
Normally that would have been in shallow right field, but we're in Mile High Stadium.
Kind of remember that. Well, here comes Terry, and he is still seeking hit number 1. He's 0 for 19, with 11 of those 19 being strikeouts. 0.77 in his career. He has 24 major league hits. Now that's a pop-up. I don't care whether it's Mile High or wherever, and the count grabs it. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Phillies go in order. We move to the bottom half of the inning. 1-0 Phillies.
I never noticed it growing up, but my parents were kind of old. But they were cool, because whenever us kids got bored, they'd do anything to entertain us. Gee, if we only had Prism, Pop wouldn't have to walk with that limp.
Love great entertainment? Then look to Prism for over 100 different movies a month. Hits like Lethal Weapon 3 and Batman Returns. To order Prism, dial 1-800-CABLE-ME. Call now and get $4.95 installation or a free upgrade plus 2 free Phillies tickets.
You wouldn't believe the stuff Mom would do when we were really bored.
These streets 1,000 times. But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, you're using Exxon 93 Supreme gasoline for a cleaner engine, smooth acceleration, and a full 93 octane. Rely on Exxon Supreme.
It was Memorial Day. I'm barbecuing for 30. I got the best chicken, I got the best steaks, I got the cheap charcoal, and I got burned.
Fire's out.
Totally.
When do we eat?
Sorry.
Still out.
So don't get burned by cheap charcoal. Buy the best.
Kingsford charcoal. Lights faster, cooks longer. Kingsford, the sure fight.
1 week from tonight at Veterans Stadium, these Rockies will be in to play the Phillies, and that's going to be photo night. Your chance to go right down on the field and take pictures, courtesy of Kodak and the Camera Shop Incorporated. Game at 7:05, picture taking 5:45 to 6:15. The number for your tickets, 463-1000, and we'll see you next Saturday. 1-0 Phils. Rockies in the second. Start with the Big Cat, who just caught that foul pop to end the top half of the inning. Galarraga back in the lineup last night after missing 17 games with a slight tear of the right hamstring, and he picked it right up. No doubt, Teak, that they missed his offense while he was gone.
Well, he's the big guy in the middle of the lineup for the Rockies.
Yeah,
he almost picked somebody off down there along the first base line with that one. But you know, he's built for this ballpark. He's the kind of hitter that if you put the ball on the inside part of the plate, he can pull the ball, but he does not sacrifice the outside part of the plate. When the ball's away, he will be able to hit it up that right center field gap. And you know, as we mentioned, the spacious area here, this is a ballpark that's really designed for a guy like Galarraga.
Unique for Galarraga in that last year his hitting coach was Don Baylor at St. Louis. He gets jammed and fouls that one, and this year Baylor's his manager.
Well, Galarraga went through a whole lot of problems last year. Injury problems, never really got it going at all, and there were a lot of people who thought that Galarraga was done, that he was over the hill. But Don Baylor, you know, being there on a day in, day out basis and seeing Galarraga, seeing what he was doing and what he was trying to do and not able to do because of the injuries, realized that, you know, this guy is not done. And the Rockies really got him as a steal. It was a great opportunity. Baylor almost did his own scouting report, and he knew things that no other scouts knew about Andres Galarraga.
You saw standing next to Baylor there, Don Zimmer, the veteran Major League player, manager, and coach. In fact, Zim might be setting a Major League record, the only guy ever to play on an expansion team, manage an expansion team, and now coach with an expansion team. Here's a ground ball hit to third. Hollins gloves it. The cat is out. One down. Don Zimmer was the manager of the San Diego Padres when they were an expansion team. Of course, he played for the New York Mets. He was Rich Ashburn's teammate there, and now he's a coach here. Charlie Hayes. Charlie celebrating birthday number 28 today. Brings a 5-game hitting streak in. Charlie not hitting much more during the streak, though, than he is for the year. Line to Batiste. Hayes out on one pitch, 2 down. Gerald Clark comes up. Clark, the left fielder today, batting .241, 5 homers, 15 runs batted in. Gerald, formerly of the San Diego Padres, and he's got a younger brother, Phil, who now plays for the Padres. Clark out of Crockett, Texas. He's 29. Jammed him. Looks to me, Teak, like Terry Mulholland is not altering his game, that he's pitching the same way today that he would pitch if he were in Veterans Stadium or Wrigley Field or wherever.
Well, you really want to try to stay with your strengths if at all possible. If you get to the point where you find out that won't work.
Nice stop. Base hit for Gerald Clark. Batiste keeps it in the infield, and Clark is the first guy to get a hit for the Rockies today.
As I was saying, you try to do what you normally do. If you find out, the ballpark or whatever happens during the daytime causes you to alter your style, then you'll do that. But right now Terry's been able to keep the ball on the ground, which he normally tries to do. That's what you want to do here, and he's just pitching in and out of his normal game.
That'll bring to the plate Chris Jones. He was leading the American Association with 40 runs batted in, playing at Colorado Springs. Terry with that step-off move. He's got a good one, although he has not claimed a victim this year, probably because the word is out.
Word is out, and the base runners are taking leads like Gerald Clark has at first base.
Back to the mound, and Terry picked it clean. It's a liner, and that takes care of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. Through 2, 1-0 Phils.
You, sir.
Yeah, I'll have a Coca-Cola.
You sure you want a Coke?
Yeah, I want a Coke.
Okay, pal.
How did you order a Coke? It tastes good. I didn't care if it was a Coke. You just want to I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola.
Something to drink, sir?
I'll just have a...
You'll just have a...
I'll just have a Coke.
Ooh.
Here that guy's a Coca-Cola. See ya, pal. Oh.
Did you know Texaco puts System 3 in every grade of gasoline?
System 3 gets high marks in every grade, which is a lot better than I ever did.
My dad says Texaco puts System 3 in every grade. I'm in the 4th grade.
Of course. That's why I always fill up with System 3. What do I look like? Don't say it.
Visit your Texaco station.
I can get the tires rotated, the car loose, and still get home in time for the game.
Mow the lawn.
For unbeatable System 3 gasolines and so much more.
Mow the lawn?
Mow the lawn.
Bring your camera and take up-close pictures of your favorite Phillies on Kodak Photo Night, Saturday, June 5th, before the Phillies play the all-new expansion team, the Colorado Rockies, at 7:05. Reserve your tickets in advance. Call 463-1000.
Another big crowd today here at Mile High Stadium. They have been averaging 58,396 per ball game. This is their 22nd home game. And needless to say, they set a record of being the quickest team to 1 million. They've already gone over it.
17 ball games it took them to get to 1 million in attendance. Unbelievable.
1-0 Phillies. Dykstra scored that run after a leadoff walk. This time a strike called to Lenny. Montreal has come up with 3 in the 7th. They have taken a 1-run lead over the Cubs. It's 5-4 Montreal as the Cubs bat in the 7th inning at Wrigley Field. 0-2. San Francisco 5-1 over Atlanta. Braves batting in the 7th inning there. San Diego 6-1 over St. Louis. That game is in the top of the 9th. The Mets 4, the Reds 3. Their ball game bottom of the 7th inning. Still 0-2 on Lenny.
Talked earlier about how the ball flies out of here, especially to left field. Right field, a very legitimate home run, 370 down the line, 400 in the power alley in right center. So a left-handed hitter that's going to hit one out of this ballpark has to hit it pretty good, as opposed to the left field side where just about any fly ball has a chance of going out of here.
This is just a temporary home for the Rockies. A new stadium is already under construction not too far from here. It's supposed to be ready for the 1995 opener, which means the Rockies will play 2 seasons here. And in that new ballpark, they're going to try to standardize things just a little. Lenny, one of the toughest in the league to strike out, but he fans right here. And that is the 2nd strikeout for Blair.
As was the case with Hollins, Lenny out in front of this pitch by Blair. Looked like another one of the split fingers. When he gets out in front in the count, then he has the option to throw that split finger. When he's behind, it becomes more difficult to throw it because there's a large percentage of split fingers that do not go in the strike zone.
Mickey is 2 for 2 in the series, including a hit in his only at bat here today. Talking about standardizing the new ballpark, what I mean by that is it's still going to be spacious. It has to be with light air here, but it's going to be shorter in right and shorter in center to make it a more honest ballpark. I think it was interesting for me to learn today something I had never known before, and that is that Mile High Stadium was originally built as a baseball park. Morandini's got another hit. Mickey is 2 for 2 today, 3 for 3 in the series. You think of this field as a football stadium, which of course it is, and a nice one, but it was built for baseball originally.
Originally built for the Denver Bears, and when the Denver Broncos moved into town, they moved in, made some modifications to the stadium, put on the upper deck. It was just a 1 lower deck in this stadium when the Bears played here. They put the upper decks on, put the extra sections in the outfield on, and expanded it into a very nice football baseball complex.
John Kruk, the hitter, was called Bears Stadium then, not Mile High. And of course these days this is a sports area complex because McNichols Stadium is right down the right field line. You can see it. We'll show it to you a bit later. It's right through the opening that we can see from here in the booth.
The Denver Nuggets play over there.
That's right. Done many a 76er game in that building. Kruk walked his first time around. There it is. There's McNichols. They share some of the same parking facilities. Denver is really a great city. And I'm sure that you're aware, Teak, that the state of Colorado leads the nation in barrels of beer brewed per year. You did know that, right?
I most certainly did. Those are the kind of facts that are very important to me.
That happened because Anheuser-Busch a couple of years ago opened a new facility in Fort Collins, Colorado, and that put Colorado in the lead. Two balls and a strike on Kruk. Phillies probably feel as though they should have gotten a little more out of that first inning. They had bases loaded, nobody out, got 1 run, but that's, bases loaded, nobody out. You're thinking of a big inning, and it didn't turn out that way. Morandini is safe. Mickey with 4 stolen bases, not any caught stealing, so he's picked the right spots. Blair steps off. See, a lot of pitchers don't want to make a pitch certain times in the game against the Phillies, and I can't blame them.
Unfortunately, the bad news is you eventually do have to throw it plateward.
That's right. That's not always the case. You heard about Gary Wayne, the left-handed reliever of these Rockies, who came in a ball game the other night and never made a pitch and wound up winning the ball game. Now that's not easy to do.
Pickoff?
Yep. Guy trying to steal. He was out. And they took the lead while he was still the pitcher of record. So without throwing a pitch plateward, he won a ball game. That's when you're going good. There he goes. And Kruk deposits one left center. Open spaces. Yes. Morandini had stopped at second, but will still make it to third. Kruk was tempted to go to second, but hangs on, and the Phillies have a one-out first and third.
As you mentioned, Mickey had a hold up for just a second at second base. Not sure if Chris Jones was going to be able to get to this ball. Kruk, as we've seen so many times, that tailing fastball away from him, goes down and gets it and hits it into the gap in left center field. Jones came over and able to cut it off to keep it from going up the gap, but because, as we mentioned, the outfielders have to play so deep here, very easy for Morandini, even though he stopped at second base and the ball bounced right up to Jones, to go ahead and move on over to third base. So the Phillies with runners at first and third now, with only one out here in the top, the top of the third inning.
Hollins takes one high. Now Hollins struck out with the bases loaded for the first out of the ball game today, and you know Dave's up there thinking, now I got to come through this time. You shouldn't put any extra pressure on yourself, but you know that's going through his mind. Hollins with 91 total bases. He's fifth in the league in total bases. Outside ball two. He's working himself into a hitter situation here. 22 extra base hits for Dave. That ranks him fourth in the league.
And he's already in one of those hitter situations. 2-0 count.
Willie Blair a little uneasy out there, and that's easy to understand.
Well, he reads the newspapers. He knows what the Phillies have been doing. He saw it last night firsthand.
Speaking of the newspapers, everywhere the Phillies go, lots and lots and lots of stories about the Phillies, many of them with the same theme about what kind of a goofy organization the Phillies are. I'm not talking about the organization, but the players. And I don't know, Teak, maybe it's because we're around them all the time. Maybe we're just kind of fitting in, but are they that goofy?
Well, they're just a loose bunch. They enjoy doing what they're doing, and they enjoy playing the game of baseball the way it should be played. Hard for 9 innings.
Foul back, and it's 2-2 on Dave. And they enjoy each other's company because they know they've got a good thing going here. They've sensed it ever since spring training that this was going to be a good year. And things haven't changed. If anything, they've gotten better.
In spring training, they thought they were going to be a good ball club. Now they know for a fact that they are a good ball club. And the confidence level just keeps getting better and better day by day.
Line drive off his bat, base hit, run scores. Kruk stops at second, and Hollins picks up his 41st run batted in to tie for second in the league.
So Willie Blair, after striking out Dykstra to lead off the inning, gives up 3 straight singles to Morandini, Kruk, and Hollins. Here we see David, just a lot like John Kruk, that sinking fastball down and away, does not try to pull it, just hits it nice and hard right down in that left field corner. So the Phillies with a run in, and still 2 men on with only 1 out, and still in the middle of that very volatile lineup.
Are they ever? Here's Darren Dalton, who has a run batted in today on a sacrifice fly. He takes ball 1. So Dalton is tied for the league lead in RBIs now. That's a title he won last year when he drove in 109. His pace this year is well ahead of that. And Darren was saying even in spring training, especially after he got his new contract, he said, you know, I think I can up my game another notch. And a lot of people, I'm sure they were saying to themselves, well, it's nice he would say that, you know, but let's just take what you did last year. And the Phillies would still be happy with that. But he's proving that maybe there is a notch up there.
Well, and I think part of that notch is the people on the ball club around him.
Yeah.
You know, last year with all the injuries on the ball club, obviously he did not have this group of guys out there every day to work with, didn't have the number of runners on base that he's had this year. So, you know, that in itself should improve his numbers over the course of this season.
Blair makes a great pitch there. That's a pitcher's pitch, and it's 1-2.
And what do good hitters do when pitchers make pitchers' pitches?
Look at it.
Take it. See if he can make 2 in a row. If you try to hit a pitcher's pitch, good chance you're going to hit a ground ball somewhere in the infield. So Dutch just takes it, says, okay, I'll go to 1 ball and 2 strikes with you, no problem.
That one's in the dirt. Beautiful stop by Girardi. Kept it in front, no advance. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Girardi becoming one of the fine receivers. He's had a lot of work to do here in Colorado when you're working with a young pitching staff that's just being put together, you have your work cut out.
Well, young pitchers are going to spray the ball around a little bit anyway, and then of course Joe coming in with all new pitchers, so he has to learn a whole new staff field, what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Back through the middle, it's a base hit. Kruk got a late start to see whether it was going through, but he will still come around and score as the grass slows it in the outfield, and the Phillies lead it 3-0. And Dalton has just taken the league lead in RBIs. He has 43.
Not sharply hit up the middle, but Darren gets the ball up the middle. You see John Kruk at second base. You'll see him come back into your picture. Actually starts breaking back toward the bag, but he has to make sure that the ball goes by Nelson Lariano at shortstop. But as we mentioned, the grass here is so high that once the ball gets to that outfield, it just dies out there. So even though he moved back, normally you would see Kruk just go to third and hold up, but John just kept on coming. David Holland's able to move over to third base, so the Phillies now first and third, 2 runs in.
Chamberlain drills one to center field. It's staying in the air for Jones. Makes the catch. Tagging at third is Hollins. He scores run number 4. A sacrifice fly RBI for Chamberlain. And the Phillies are just cashing in all their chances today. West gets an RBI. He has driven in now 4 runs in the series. That's out number 2. Milt Thompson, the batter. He was out on a topper back to the pitcher first time up. Thompson has been on base in 22 of the 25 games he has started, either with a hit or a walk. Milt didn't think so. 1-1. Foul back. The Phillies sent 6 men to the plate in the first inning. They've sent 7 men to the plate here in this inning, which is not over yet. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Thompson. Last night, the Phillies scored 11 of their season high 15 runs when 2 were out. Well, that's certainly a mark of good hitting, too. Another topper for Milt. And once again, Blair makes the play. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 left. Phillies lead 4-0.
Fans are often impressed with the stats of their favorite players. But believe me, the most valuable players are the ones who work hard every day to create a positive team attitude. The same is true about school. The most valuable students attend class every day with a positive attitude. On May 26th, IBM, the Phillies, and Prism will honor 700 hardworking kids in the IBM Philadelphia Phillies Student Pennant Race. As chairman of the IBM Student Pennant Race, I want to congratulate these kids and all students who work hard to do their personal best.
Hi, I'm Mickey Morandini of the Phillies. When I make the plays at second base, I depend on my Rawlings glove. It's a choice of the pros. At Gold Medal Sporting Goods, you'll find a great selection of Rawlings gloves, balls, and equipment. Plus, Gold Medal is the official retail outlets of the Phillies. So team up with Rawlings and me at any one of the Gold Medal Sporting Goods stores in the Delaware Valley, where you'll find the best service, selection, and prices around.
Trouble with heartburn? Well, you could change your job, change your lifestyle, change your diet.
Bon appetit.
Or better still, reach for Rolaids. It absorbs acid fast to bring 100% relief to millions. So maybe you can't change your life, but you can get relief in original and calcium-rich. Rolaids spells relief.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. By Pizza Hut. Call Pizza Hut Delivery now and have your pizza by the 6th inning. And by your local Dodge dealers. Come in today because we know how to help. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here at Mile High Stadium. Phillies have a 4-0 lead. The Rockies haven't gone through their lineup yet. They'll start with the number 8 hitter here, Nelson Lariano. Terry Mulholland is pitching just like it is in Mile High Stadium so far. 1 walk and 1 infield hit is all the Rockies have to show for their efforts. Liriano, 6 for his last 13. He's been a hot hitter. Takes a called strike. Holland's in on the grass at third. There's Dave, and you can play a little shallower here because, as we've been mentioning, should a ball be bunted, that grass will stop it.
And what a great ballpark if you're a guy that's inclined to bunt. This is the perfect ballpark to do it in.
Brett Butler ought to pay them to play here. 1-2 on Liriano.
Now with 2 strikes, Holland's able to back up at third base, back more to a normal third base position.
You know who's doing a great job at shortstop for this ball club was Vinny Castilla out of the Atlanta organization. He's hurt right now. And Freddie Benavidez was playing short for a while and he got hurt. He's back on the active list right now. Came back very quickly from arthroscopic knee surgery. So Liriano's getting a chance to play these days and doing a decent job. Terry Mulholland not showing any evidence that that foot is bothering him.
Which is good news for the Phillies.
Also. I think you come in here to play an expansion team and you're in first place as the Phillies are. I guess most people would expect the Phillies to win all 3 of these games. Does that put any pressure on the Phils? Should they drop 1 and just take 2 out of 3, for example?
Well, I don't think it puts any pressure on the Phils, but I think it's anytime you go into a series and expect that you're going to win all 3, those are pretty high expectations. I don't care who you're playing. And these still are Major League Baseball players. They're an expansion ball club, but it's a Major League Baseball team, and these guys are out here to win the ball game too.
Kruk catches it. Liriano swung at ball 4. He could have been at first base, but he fouls out, and that's the first out of the third. Willie Blair has 1 Major League hit.
What you try to do against an expansion team, and the Phillies did a nice job of it last night, is get out in front of them, and try to demoralize them. But I think what we saw, Don Baylor already has this club believing that we're going to play 9 innings every day, and the Rockies, even though the Phillies were way out in front, just kept pecking away and got themselves back close in that ball game last night. So I don't think you can feel comfortable against this Rockies club, no matter what the lead is. They're not going to be one of those teams that folds up and goes home and says, well, this one's in the books, let's just get ready for tomorrow. Doesn't seem to be the nature of the Rockies, and definitely not the nature of Don Baylor.
That's especially so when they play here. For example, their team batting average is .261, but in this ballpark it's .294. Blair is 0 for 5 as a batter this year. 2 balls and a strike on Willie. Terry gets a breaking ball over just to mix up his repertoire a bit. 2-2. Check swing roller to second base. Maybe that wasn't a check swing, more like a half swing, a pitcher's swing, if you will. Teak, can you live with that?
That was a very late weak swing.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's what I meant when I said pitcher's swing.
Which meant a nice routine ground ball to Mickey Morandini. No problem.
Back to the top of the lineup now, and Eric Young walked the first time up. In fact, he walked on 4 pitches. And then, in what was an early key spot in this game, Girardi followed by grounding into a double play. Actually, Young ran into it, and that helped Mulholland out a lot. And when you walk the leadoff batter in a ball game and you maybe have a physical problem as he does with his foot, you can start to think about it, but they got him out of it right away. There's a base hit. He swung at a terrible pitch, but bounced it through the right side, and Young's got a base hit. Who said life was fair?
Pitch high and wide, way out of the strike zone. Young just reaches out and slaps it right through the right side. John Kruk was moving toward the bag, and Mickey Morandini not able to get over, so rolls 1 through the right side. So 2 outs now, and Joe Girardi at the plate.
Now, will the Rockies be running here, down 4-0?
They ran 5-0 last night, late in the game, 7th inning, down by 5 runs.
Kruk almost, or Terry almost picked off Kruk on that one.
Terry with the step-off move. Short hop John with that throw. John did a nice job of blocking it because there's a lot of territory down behind him. If that ball gets by, Young is definitely over at third base.
You're assuming it can roll on that grass.
Once it gets through there, it gets that rubberized track, it'll roll for a while.
Here he goes, but a ground ball is hit to short. Batiste will have the play only at first, but he gets it over there for the out. Eric Young was running. No runs, 1 hit and 1 left. After 3, it is 4-0 Phillies.
Highly sensitive microphones and even stethoscopes were used to isolate noises in the new Intrepid. Triple sealed doors, specially designed tires, and a unique muffler system were used to quiet them. You said your next car had to be quiet.
Excuse me.
And boy, did we listen. Intrepid. This changes everything.
For the first time ever, the expansion Florida Marlins come to the Vet Thursday, June 17th and Friday, June 18th. Then the Upper Deck Heroes play Saturday, June 19th before the Marlins game. And it's a free vintage 1933 baseball cap for all men, Sunday, June 20th at 1:35. Order your tickets in advance. Call 463-1000.
A week from tomorrow, the Phillies will be at the Vet to play these Rockies, a game at 1:35, and that's Beach Towel Day. An oversized, colorful beach towel featuring the Fanatic, free for all children 14 and under, compliments of Mellon PSFS. Make sure you make your plans to attend. Order your tickets early. The easiest way is by calling 463-1000, or you may stop by the Center City ticket office at Mellon PSFS, Broad and Chestnut. Andy Musser with Kent DeColvey at Mile High Stadium. Phillies up 4-0. We go to the 4th. The leadoff hitter is Kim Batiste. His only at bat today resulted in a fly ball to right field. Tries to bunt his way on. Not a bad idea. Girardi cannot get there. Strike 1 on Batiste. You get a properly laid bunt in this grass here, you got to hit.
And Charlie Hayes playing back at third base, well behind the bag, probably about 8 or 10 feet behind the bag at third base. Kim had all the room in the world to get the ball down, and you don't have to kill the ball when you're bunting on this grass. All you got to do is get it wide enough that the pitcher can't get to it, and you got a pretty good shot at a base hit, especially with the third baseman playing back like that.
Full swing this time, center field, a play for Jones. Jones playing just his second day with the Rockies since being called up. He's taking the place of Dale Murphy, who announced his retirement on Thursday. They're going to have a ceremony honoring Murph here on Tuesday night. Too bad we won't be in town for that. Murph, one of the great all-time players, a 2-time National League MVP. Do you think his numbers are good enough for the Hall of Fame team?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it.
I know he's frustrated by not having achieved the 400 homer mark. He came into the year needing 2 and was not able to get them. Holland out on a foul ball to first in his only at bat. Here's a ground ball hit too short. Liriano gets a bad hop, and Mulholland will be safe. Let's see if that's Terry's first hit of the year. It is a base hit. Terry 0 for 20 at that point, gets himself a base hit.
We were told about the infield here at Mile High. Some bad bounces in it. We see one right here. That last hop just came up. Liriano doing what he's supposed to do. Had the glove down in position to field the ground ball, but it just took that very sharp high hop and at the end and hit off of his left shoulder. So Terry Mulholland gets his first hit of the year. He's off the snide. You can't really blame Liriano for that play.
Now Terry has to make certain that nothing he does on the base paths hurts that foot that has been bothering him. Lenny today has walked and struck out and scored one of the Phillies' runs. They lead 4-0. Phillies have out hit the Rockies today 6-2. play for Liriano? No, it goes right on by. Mulholland stops at second. Possibly a more aggressive runner would have taken a turn, but Terry does the smart thing as Dykstra gets a base hit. Now Lenny with a 7-game hitting streak.
Lenny does a nice job here just hitting the ball back up the middle. Got the last hop right on the edge of the infield grass. Did not hit that low hugger, because that's the one that gets sucked up in the grass, but hit the bouncing ball. Took a nice hop, and Liriano stretched out but couldn't quite get there. So Phillies in business again here in the top of the 4th inning.
Mickey Morandini, 3 hits in his last 3 at-bats. I guess those 3 days off paid off for him. 2 for 2 today, both singles. Mickey takes a strike.
Now Lenny has to be careful over at first base. You know, Lenny is an astute base runner, and he knows if the ball's in the outfield, he's going to suck up in the grass. He's going to be able to take the extra base. But having Mulholland in front of you, you're not sure if Terry's going to make quite as aggressive a move on the base. So he has to be alert to the fact that Mulholland is in front of him and kind of on his way around the bases, check to see what Terry's doing 90 feet in front of him.
Strike. 0-2 on Mickey. 1 out in the inning. And the Phillies have been retired in order in this game just once. In last night's ball game, in 9 innings, they were retired in order just twice. So basically, they've had something going most of the time. That's a fair ball. The Cat stops it. He gets the out at first base. A 2-time Gold Glove winner coming off a 17-game layoff. But the Cat just made a nice play.
Well, when you can play defense, you can play defense. This ball almost completely by Galarraga by the time he gets to it. Has the presence of mind to get up and doesn't even have to use the flip to the pitcher. Takes the play himself. Andres Galarraga always has had those good reactions and those soft hands. He shows them right there.
Mickey Morandini got picked. He could be 3 for 3 in the game. Mulholland at third, Dykstra to second. 2 outs as John Kruk comes up. Kruk has walked and singled, scoring once. I mentioned last night that the Phillies did the bulk of their scoring with 2 outs. 11 of the 15 runs last night, crossing the plate when 2 were retired. And there were 2 sitting out there right now if Kruk can do something.
That play by Galarraga probably cost Morandini 2 RBIs, because that ball is in double for sure, probably triple territory. With that big area down the right field line, that ball would have hooked into foul territory. So Morandini loses a couple RBIs, and the Phillies lose, at least temporarily, a couple runs.
Well, if it would have been a triple, it would have been his 3rd, and that would have put him right up among the league leaders. 2-0 on Kruk. There's a base open, but Hollins is next. This is where the pitcher is really in a dilemma, facing the heart of the Phillies lineup.
Just never quits.
What you can do, though, Tegan, I'm sure you'd better able to address this than I am. When you do have that base open, you can try to make sure that they hit the pitch that you want them to.
Well, you don't have to challenge quite as much. You have the option, you know, if you get behind in the count, not to concede. But the problem being, if you do walk Kruk, then when you come up to Hollins, you have to concede because the bases are loaded.
Yeah. John fouls it, and it's 2-2.
And when you get a situation with the bases loaded, you know you have to come into the plate, throw the ball over the middle of the plate. Dave Hollins knows you have to throw over the middle of the plate. That's not a comfortable situation for a pitcher. So you try to avoid that by making some pitches on Kruk, trying to get out of the inning before you get to Hollins. But then again, you're facing a guy hitting 362 coming into today. So it's the old rock and a hard spot.
That's a dilemma. Ball 3. Now Willie Blair is saying, can I throw my split-fingered fastball here and hope to get it? Hope to get Kruk to swing at it? As you mentioned earlier, most of those splitters are out of the strike zone. And Kruk gives it a hard ride. 2 runs are going to score. Phillies pick up 2 with 2 outs in the inning on Kruk's single and lead 6-0. That's a good piece of hitting.
And Willie Blair does throw the split finger, but he throws the one that you're just trying to get over the plate, trying to get it into the strike zone. It was about thigh high, and John Kruk just rifled it into right field. Terry Mulholland can easily score from third base. No wear and tear on the foot there. Here we see the splitter starts to go down, but it's between the belt and the thighs. Knowing that he has to get it over the plate on the 3-2 count, not nearly as effective as that good hard one down low out of the strike zone.
Here's Dave Hollins. He gets a splitter and fouls it. Well, Kruk, with those 2 runs batted in, now has knocked in 30. And 6-0 for the Phillies in the 4th inning of today's game from Denver, Colorado. Hollins crushes that ball to deep left center, but over to run it down is Clark. That's a nice running play by Clark. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 left. Phillies lead the game 6-0.
Major League Baseball Home Video proudly presents Centennial, over 100 years of Philadelphia Phillies baseball. This special video captures the passion and excitement that is shared by the Phillies and their fans. Relive all the joy and fun of 1950 and the beloved Whiz Kids. And who will ever forget the magical year of 1980 when the Phillies won it all? A must for every Phillies fan, Centennial has the history, the fun, and the hustle of Philadelphia baseball. To order for just $19.95 plus $4 shipping, send check or money order to this address, or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
Some premium gasolines don't give you smooth performance during warm-up. Some don't give you the highest level of engine cleaning or a full 93 octane. But Exxon 93 Supreme gives you all 3.
Let the tiger set you free.
For high performance, rely on Exxon Supreme.
Rely on the tiger.
It's the 10th reunion of the National League champs. The 83 Phillies play an 83 All-Star team Saturday, June 19th, 6 p.m. in the Heroes of Baseball game, compliments of Upper Deck. Before the Phillies play the Marlins at 7:35. Call 463-1000.
Rockies batting in the 4th. They trail the Phillies by a 6-0 score. And Terry Mulholland will have to face the big part of their lineup here this 4th inning, so this could be a key spot for them, as they'll start with the number 3 hitter Bichette, go to Galarraga, and go to Hayes. Bichette 0 for 1. It was a pop-up to shortstop. Bichette's got a great arm. He's not necessarily a great outfielder. Coming off a career-high year at Milwaukee last year, he batted .287 for the Brewers. He's had better power years, both in 90 and 91. He had 15 home runs in each of those years, so he's got some sock in his bat. He's hit 6 home runs already this year. Bouncing ball, Hollins has it. Makes the play. Bichette is out. You get the feeling that John Kruk's a little nervous at first when Hollins gets ready to throw the ball.
He gets over in that ready position at first base, gets that 1 foot on the bag and kind of squats down and gets down low like a basketball defender, ready to move in either direction or go down low to block the low throw.
Andres Galarraga, he hit one to Hollins first time around, and Dave threw him out.
We should talk about that position. First basemen are taught to get in that position on every play. Never anticipate the good throw, always anticipate a bad one and be ready to move forward.
Sort of like defensive driving, right? Always looking around.
Always be ready. Expect the unexpected.
Galarraga batting .395. Now here's a guy, as he fouls this one off the right side, who has 35 runs batted. Then he's 8th in the league in RBIs, and he's just back to work after a 17-game absence. I believe he was leading the league or close to it when he went out.
Well, that just shows you the job he was doing before he went out. Of course, as we mentioned, this is a great ballpark for him to hit in. Has gap power, has the ability to hit the ball to all fields.
Somewhere along the line, these Rockies are going to want to pick up a strictly pull-hitting masher, though, aren't they? Wouldn't that be a great commodity for them to have here? Hollins makes the play, and the cat is out. You know, a Cecil Fielder type or somebody like that that's just going to stand up there and thump that ball to left field.
Well, I think that's something that the Rockies, you know, you really don't know if they're going to do it or not, because the time that they're going to be playing in this stadium, they're going to be the first 2 years, really the developmental years of their ball club. And, you know, would you want to go out and get a guy like that and slow down the development of another player? Probably not. I think Bob Gebhardt will probably want to stay with the players that he's going to take over to Coors Stadium once they open that one up. And that ballpark will not be as conducive to a right-handed pull hitter as this ballpark is.
Charlie Hayes 0 for 1. It was a line drive to Batiste. Cubs are batting in the bottom of the 9th, and they're trailing Montreal 5-4. The Expos back of the Phillies by 6 games at this moment. San Francisco 6-2 over Atlanta. Braves batting in the bottom of the 8th. Stopped by Mulholland, a great play. Throw to first. He got him in a 1-2-3 inning for the first time. Terry puts him down in order. Through 4, 6-0 Phillies.
This is your world, genuine and true. You're the one who keeps coming through, 'cause you're giving it your best.
When my doctor said to start exercising, I knew I wasn't 25 anymore. And that's when I called Bill, my nationwide insurance agent.
Jim had some questions, so we did a nationwide care review. We talked about his financial plan, life insurance, disability coverage, even retirement.
And we covered everything.
It turns out Jim was okay just the way he was.
Insurance-wise, right?
Oh, right.
The care review from Nationwide, because things change.
When you move into a new house, little things are going to come up. Unexpected things. Things the previous owner forgot to mention. So to make your new house a home, turn to the book with more choices. It can even help if you want to get out of the house for a while. But you'll learn Bella Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it. No other book can match it. A Bella Atlantic Company.
Heroes of Baseball game coming up when the Phillies meet the Marlins on Saturday, June 19th. And this is going to be the '83 National League Championship. Phillies returning against a team of Major League All-Stars, including my partner, Kent DeColvey. You're going to see Mike Schmidt, Tug McGraw, Gary Matthews, Gary Maddox, and all of the heroes of baseball coming back to the ballpark, sponsored by Upper Deck. That game starts at 6 o'clock on Saturday, June 19th. Teak has already started his workouts, I can tell. Not breathing quite as heavily, or at least he wasn't until we got to Denver. Hey, you know, there's something to this light air. You and I were both puffing hard coming up one flight of stairs here to get to the press box.
Yeah, it's amazing when you come out here. I've been out here a couple different times, and it really takes you about 3 days for your body to acclimate itself to the thinness of the air out here.
3 days and you're gone.
And you're gone playing in baseball, right? So as the season wears on, that's probably going to prove to be an advantage to the Colorado Rockies, because they're going to become acclimated to it, especially later on in the homestand, where they get used to the light air, where the opposing club is still going to be in that adjustment period.
Phillies lead it 6-0. Dalton strikes out. The third strikeout for Blair, first out of the 5th inning.
Third strikeout, and all three have been on the splitter, down in the strike zone, and all three times Philly hitters have been out in front of that pitch.
Wes Chamberlain is up now. Wes 0 for 1 in the game, plus a sacrifice fly run batted in. Mets 4, Cincinnati 3. They're in the bottom of the 8th today. San Diego has beaten the Cardinals this afternoon by a 7-4 score. Greg Harris won that ball game. Here's a bouncer for Liriano, and he makes the play. So Willie Blair settles in here in the 5th to get 2 quick outs. This is only the second time in the game where he's gotten the first 2 hitters. Thompson batting. Milt 0 for 2. Both of them hit to Blair. It was cloudy before the ball game. Then we played a couple of innings in bright sunshine, and now the clouds are rolling in once more. Nothing and 2 on Milt. Pete Incaviglia played left field for the Phillies last night. He and Thompson in a platoon out there. Milt takes high, 1 and 2.
Great quote in the paper today, speaking of the light air by Inky. He says, if I have to hit a double and run, everybody please quit breathing so there's enough air left for me.
2 and 2.
These guys aren't loose at all, are they?
No, they're not.
Winning is a wonderful thing. There's Inky.
Enjoying the day off and knowing that somewhere this afternoon he might get an at-bat. Another play for Liriano. And his throw gets Thompson. A 1-2-3 inning for Willie Blair. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. We move to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and it's 6-0 Phillies.
Major League Baseball Home Video presents baseball's funniest bloopers. Hey fans, you'll be bowled over by this highly revealing romp. Then we'll sprinkle in some bite-sized fun, just enough to tickle your funny bone. Now, if you want to sink your teeth into baseball's funniest bloopers, just call this number and order. Baseball's funniest bloopers is 35 minutes of laughter and a whole lot of Major League mess-ups. So pick one up today. If you're a rookie squirt, ask for help. Ouch! If you're a Major League squirt, grab a pen and paper. Any paper. To order for just $19.95 plus $4 shipping, send check or money order to this address. Or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
Do Texaco food marts really have everything?
Oh, they have gum, cheese, candy.
Many reasons I come to Texaco.
Chips, cereals, nice people.
There are many reasons. You want it, they got it. If they don't have it, you don't need it.
Isn't that candy that pulls apart like that?
Did I skip something?
Visit your Texaco station and food mart for unbeatable System 3 gasoline.
Pop comes here for System 3, and I come here for Pop. Right, Mom?
And just about everything else.
I'd recommend it to anybody. And I would, too.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change. By Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. Your Nationwide agent in Lafayette Hill is Jack Custra. And by your Quality Plus Ford dealer. Get great deals on 5 of the 10 best-selling cars and trucks in America during the Great American Ford Sales Event at your Quality Plus Ford dealer. Gerald Clark leads it off here in the 5th inning. The Phillies have a 6-0 lead, and now the Rockies, facing the bottom part of their batting order here, are thinking about pinch hitting for Willie Blair. They've got Darren Holmes up in their bullpen. Willie Blair due to bat 4th in the inning. Fly ball right side of the infield. Kruk, fair territory, makes the catch. Clark out on a pop-up, 1 down. Darren Holmes. The hitter is Chris Jones, who lined one back to Mulholland, who caught it ankle high for an out.
You would think on an expansion club that the guys that go to spring training on the roster would be the guys that are here. Chris Jones went to camp with these Rockies as a non-roster player and started out, as we mentioned, in Colorado Springs, just called up to replace Dale Murphy. So even the Colorado Rockies, the expansion club, have gone to a couple non-roster players, or at least one non-roster player early in this '93 season.
You know, there were really quite a few in that category. For example, veteran pitcher Bryn Smith was a non-roster player at the start of the year.
Well, a lot of, the veteran players you're going to find that are going to be non-rosters only because, you can take them to spring training and not take up a spot on your 40-man roster. But the younger players, would pretty much be on the roster by merit. So the veterans really don't count in that equation because they were just stored there. They knew they were going to make the ball club, but they were stored off the roster.
Here's a ball hit to the gap. Jones has a hit. Dykstra over to play it. Jones takes a wide turn but stays with a single. That's the first. We've checked that. I was going to say it's the first outfield hit, but Young had one of them. It's the third hit for Colorado in the game.
Not a bad pitch by Terry down in the strike zone. See Lenny hustling over, getting in front of the ball. Now we saw the Phillies a couple times last night take the extra base hit, especially on ground ball base hits. So the Philly outfielders alerted to the fact that you have to get to the ball and get it back in a hurry.
Batter is Liriano. Jim Tatum is out in the on-deck circle to bat for Willie Blair. Tatum's a guy that should know all about this ballpark. He played here last year when this was a AAA team. Liriano chases one in the dirt. Nelson out on a foul ball to Kruk in his first at bat. Wind has picked up a little bit, blowing out toward left, at least if you can believe the flags atop the hole in right. Softly hit, but Batista's right at the bag and gets the double play. A 6-3 double play. No runs, one hit, nobody left on base. After 5, 6-0 Phillies.
You know, a lot of people think you have to be a pro to shop at Sherwin-Williams. Actually, you just have to want to paint like one. That's why they're having a do-it-yourself sale. Their best-selling A100 exterior flat is only $13.99, and Classic 99 interior flat is just $12.99. It ends June 26th. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you better get going.
Mark your calendar and clear your schedule. The Phillies play the pitching powerful Atlanta Braves Monday, June 21st and Tuesday, June 22nd, both at 7:35, followed by an always popular business person special Wednesday afternoon, June 23rd at 12:35. Reserve your tickets by phone. Call 463-1000.
That double play ground out earned Willie Blair one more inning on the hill. There was a pinch hitter out for him, but he stays in the ball game to face the Phillies in the 6th. 6-0 Phils. Here's Kim Batiste. He just pulled that double play. Kim is a hitter today, 0 for 2, a pair of fly balls, one to right, one to center. Kind of cloudy here at Mile High Stadium at the moment.
Took a shot an inning ago, and the Phillies, you can see how deep the Phillies are playing almost back to the warning track in left field. Right now we're looking at the Colorado Rockies, who are playing much deeper, especially in center field. Chris Jones very deep in center field, so it appears as if the Phillies' philosophy is let's pinch the outfielders in a little bit and try to cut off some of those dunkers that are hit in front of us. The Rockies playing more of a defensive mode, staying farther back, trying to get the keep the ball from going over their heads. So we see the Phillies and then the Rockies.
Meantime, Batiste is getting pounded inside a little bit here by Willie Blair. By the way, there's a left-hander up now for the Rockies in the bullpen rather than a right-hander. They've gone to Gary Wayne.
We mentioned Mr. Wayne before. He of the no-pitch win.
Batiste swings through it. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Batty. There's Wayne.
Funky little
I was
delivery.
going to say, how would you describe that motion?
Funky.
Funky. Sort of flings the ball. High ball 3, 3-2. Well, that's the great thing about being on television, Teak. We don't have to describe it.
That's
Just
right.
say, look at that.
Look at that. You may wonder why the Rockies have switched pitchers in the bullpen. With Blair coming up to hit next inning, Don Baylor still going to hit for him, but if Batiste or Mulholland gets on, Phillies up to the top of the order. All the left-handers and switch hitters are at the top of the order, so Baylor wants to have a left-handed pitcher ready.
Hit to Jones. He gets over. He's had a busy day in center field. Batista's hit 2 there himself. That's the first out of the inning, and here comes slugger Terry Mulholland. Got his first hit of the year last time up, an infield single, and scored a run. So Terry now has a batting average, which he didn't before. It's not a good one, but it's a batting average. 0.48.
He's on the board.
Got to start somewhere. His 25th major league hit.
Looking out at Chris Jones now, the Colorado center fielder. He's playing against Mulholland about where Dykstra plays against the regular hitters in the Rockies lineup. So he's pulled in right now. This is shallow for him because the pitcher's hitting. And there is still a lot of land in between him and the infield.
Look at Terry laces into this baby. Clark there. He almost got that ball over Clark's head. That's as solid as we've seen Terry hit one for a while. Maybe that infield single got him some confidence, huh?
The Colorado Rocky outfielders make the catch and then take the glasses off and look at each other. Twice in a row. Holmes with a fastball up and on the inside part of the plate. Terry gives it a good ride.
He did.
Causes Clark to retreat in left field. Terry's going, now wait a second, if I can get one really good, I might be able to hit one out of this ballpark.
Looks like Clark's starting to see bugs out there. See him swatting them away? No bugs here. Dykstra takes a strike. Lenny is 1 for 2 today, plus a walk. He scored twice. Lenny among the league leader in runs scored. He's starting to post some more. Foul tip.
You just saw in that shot where Gerald Clark is now with Lenny Dykstra up. By all means not a power hitter to the opposite field, and yet Clark is still almost back to the warning track in left field. So these Rocky outfielders have been taught, play with your back against the wall and try to come in and catch the ball.
1-2.
The only problem with that is, boy, that just leaves a lot of room for those little dunkers. Clark only about 20 feet short of the warning track in left field. I mean, how far can you go back? The ball's hit, you're going to run out of room. You're going to run into a wall before you can run all the way as far back as you can go.
Lenny is called out on strikes, the second strikeout that he has picked up today. That's unusual. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. The Phillies are out 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 6-0 Phils.
Baseball. Phillies baseball. Dykstra, Dalton, Hollins, Krut. The home team. The home field. Comedy. Fatal Passion. Material Girls. True Love. Paths to Freedom. The best movie of the year. Home Team Sports. Great movies. Prism. One channel. 1 month. 1 call. Make it now.
Hi, I'm Mickey Morandini of the Phillies. When I make the plays at second base, I depend on my Rawlings glove. It's a choice of the pros. At Gold Medal Sporting Goods, you'll find a great selection of Rawlings gloves, balls, and equipment. Plus, Gold Medal is the official retail outlets of the Phillies. So team up with Rawlings and me at any one of the Gold Medal sporting goods stores in the Delaware Valley, where you'll find the best service, selection, and prices around.
When Bob borrowed a lawnmower, all he got was short grass. When Bob borrowed hedge clippers, all he got was nice shrubs. When Bob borrowed a ladder, all he got was red shutters. When Bob borrowed a hose, all he got was wet. But when Bob borrowed money, he got free banking services. The Mellon PSFS Smart Accounts. The package accounts for people who borrow as well as save.
Cap Day at the Vet this year will be Sunday, June 20th. The Phillies play the Marlins that day. This is a terrific continuation of the nostalgia-style Phillies baseball caps. This year's model will be from the 1933 uniforms, compliments of Texaco, and free for all men 15 and over. The number to call for your tickets, 463-1000. This is Jim Tatum. He's pinch hitting for the pitcher, Willie Blair. Tatum batting .196, 1 homer, 6 runs batted in. He leads the Rockies as a pinch hitter. He's 7 for 26, including a pinch home run. Tatum was the American Association MVP here, playing with the Denver Zephyrs last year. He hit .329 here in this ballpark with 19 home runs and 101 runs driven in.
And the Rockies acquired Tatum with their 9th pick in the 2nd round of this past winter's expansion draft.
From Milwaukee, right?
Third baseman by trade that has been used primarily by Don Baylor as a pinch hitter.
This was a Milwaukee farm team last year. He's hit. Terry Mulholland hangs his head. He sure didn't want to hit Tatum. 6-0 Phillies, and he puts the leadoff man on. He didn't want to do it.
Well, ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Terry just trying to push Tatum off the plate to get that area on the outside part of the plate open again. Gets this one inside just a little bit too far. Catches Tatum right below the shoulder in the back of the arm. So the Rockies with a leadoff base runner the hard way.
Well, the Phillies infield has pulled 2 double plays today. One, he got him. How about that? Tatum gets a free pass and then gets picked off. That's Terry's first of the year.
Bingo, gotcha. Says they don't do that. They didn't do that here last year. Not even close. Ron Hesse, the first base coach, just hangs his head.
Well, they warn him. That's all they can do. The batter is Eric Young. He thinks about bunting, takes a strike.
So what if you're Tatum now? You took one for the team on the shoulder. You get to go 90 feet, take a lead before the first pitch is thrown. You're out of there.
Young has walked and singled. Threw that one by him on a breaking ball. 0-2. Young came up through the Dodgers organization. He's a graduate of Rutgers University. He's from New Brunswick. Big minor league base stealer. He stole 76 bases when he was with Vero Beach back in 1990. The following year he stole 70 at San Antonio. Gets a piece of it. Eric is 26 years of age. He has just enough major league time not to be a rookie any longer. Two and two. Got him. Ball dropped. Outmade at first base. Terry Mulholland's first strikeout. He just got his first pickoff and now his first K. And so with 2 outs, Joe Girardi will bat. Cubs catcher 0 for 2. Ground ball to second and a ground ball to short. The first one turned into a double play. Phillies really have to be pleased with the way Terry Mulholland is pitching, not only just with the results, but when you think back to the fact that he might not have even made the start today. You know, they held Jose De Leon out of last night's game just in case he should be needed here today. There's a slow roller that Kruk will take care of, and that's a 1-2-3 inning. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. After 6, the Phillies lead 6-0.
It's kid as play.
50% of it is attitude and style.
And play is kid.
You're gonna be Blade Brown. You gotta know where Blade Brown comes from.
Thought you crawled out from under a rock.
And they're a class act.
Come on, man, that ain't half of what went down. How about giving a brother some credit? Yeah, you heard him. Give him some credit. Oh, very funny. Talk about bringing a brother down.
Along with 50 other standard amenities, the Nissan Maxima GXE has a keyless entry system on the door. This system allows you to unlock doors, open the trunk, and even open windows automatically. But if you think the door is impressive, just imagine what's behind it. Now you can lease a Maxima for just $1,000 down and $269 a month for 24 months.
The metal cylinder is secured and turned in a counterclockwise motion, causing the internal railing to rise and disengage. It's easy to make something as simple as opening a jar complex. The challenge is making the complex simple. But that's what we do at Bell Atlantic Mobile. We take cutting-edge technology and place it comfortably in your hands. Bell Atlantic Mobile. Advanced technology and people who make it mean something.
Whether you're 30 or 60 or even more or anywhere in between, you can join me and some of the greatest stars in Phillies history as we live, learn, laugh, and play next February at Phillies Dream Week. Imagine a fun week of baseball and fun on Clearwater Beach in the middle of the winter, surrounded by Larry Boa, Greg Luzinski, Dave Cash, and many more. It's truly a Phillies fan's dream come true. For full details on Phillies Dream Week, call 215-938-1200. That's 215-938-1200. Space is limited, so you should call now.
Left-hander on the hill for the Rockies at this point. It's Gary Wayne, appearing in his 22nd ball game, all in relief. He's 2-2, a 3.26 earned run average for the left-hander Gary Wayne. Facing Morandini, and Mickey is 2 out of 3 this afternoon. Phillies lead 6-0. We were talking about Wayne picking up a victory when he didn't even make a throw. It was the 7th inning of their game down in Houston on Tuesday, and Joe Girardi threw out Houston's Steve Finley, who was trying to steal for the 3rd out, and then the Rockies took the lead the next inning. Wayne was quoted as saying afterward, he says, "I don't feel guilty at all. I only faced one batter in my 2 losses, so why should I?"
Man, telling it like it is.
By the way, Larry Anderson once did that. Wayne became only the 3rd guy in the last 10 years to do it, and one of them was Andy. Here's one right back to Wayne, makes the play, and Morandini is out.
Well, as I described it earlier, Gary Wayne has that funky delivery, and it's could be very difficult for left-handed hitters to follow the ball. There's about 2 or 3 hesitations in it, a pause, a step across your body, and then after you step and your foot lands, then the arm comes through. Not the conventional way that the left-handed hitters are used to seeing the ball coming from a left-handed pitcher.
That sounds like the prescription for an arm injury. Kruk has not been retired today. He has walked and twice singled. Look out, that one bounced up there.
Grounder. Now this is funky. Up, hesitate, hip, hip, hi, yeah. And then he stands there with all the fingers pointing down, too.
Seriously, can you hurt your arm throwing like that?
It should already be hurt. That should be the result of having hurt your arm, is to throw like that.
You're probably right.
Now, between Wayne's funky motion, and we have seen John Kruk throw some real funky swings on the ball, this could be a great at-bat.
Well, stay tuned. 2-0 the count. Back through the middle, but Wayne's up to the challenge. He gets 2 comebackers. Well, he didn't get any business down at Houston, but he's had 2 plays for himself here today. Wayne is out of Dearborn, Michigan. He's 30 years of age.
Dave Holland stepping in, saying, "Thank goodness I'm a switch hitter. I get to turn around and hit this guy from the right side."
Dave 1 for 3 today. It was an RBI single back in the 3rd when the Phillies had their biggest inning. They got 3 that inning.
Not a pretty swing.
Needless to say, this is Holland's favorite side of the plate. Dave batting .392 as a right-handed batter. His average from the other side, .243. He gets far more at bats, of course, as a left-handed hitter. He's keeping everybody loose up there, isn't he?
Including Girardi.
And Ron Barnes, the umpire.
Go back there saying, give me a suit of armor here. I don't have enough pads on. Start bouncing that ball 4 and 5 feet out in front of the plate. Those hops become a little more difficult to catch.
A pop-up. Let's see who wants this one. Charlie Hayes. And a 1-2-3 inning, third inning in a row. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's stretch time here, and 6-0 Phillies.
I never noticed it growing up, but my parents were kind of old. But they were cool, because whenever us kids got bored, they'd do anything to entertain us. Gee, if we only had Prism, Pop wouldn't have to walk with that limp.
Love great entertainment? Then look to Prism for over 100 different movies a month. Hits like Lethal Weapon 3 and Batman Returns. To order Prism, dial 1-800-CABLE-ME. Call now and get $4.95 installation or a free upgrade plus 2 free Phillies tickets.
You wouldn't believe the stuff Mom would do when we were really bored.
There's a new feeling sweeping the state, peace of mind. Because now people who couldn't afford health coverage can get special care from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's the most affordable coverage available to families and individuals who earn too much for Medicaid but can't afford coverage on their own. If you're uninsured, your peace of mind is just a phone call away. Call 1-800-248-5200.
Sir?
Sorry, I'm in a hurry.
Sir, we'd like to talk to you about stress reduction.
Okay, I've got to see some important people.
Sir, you need to take the day off.
You know, I need to take the day off.
Dorney Park in Wildwater Kingdom is the top seasonal water park in the U.S. and one of America's greatest family amusement parks. It's recreation for the body and the mind. Take the day off.
Money-saving coupons available at participating Pizza Hut restaurants.
Hi, I'm Dick Vermeer with a Blue Cross Blue Shield health tip. What is the #1 killer of Americans ages 1 to 44? Cancer, heart disease, traffic crashes. If you guess traffic crashes, you're right. Arrive alive, buckle up, and never drink and drive.
Along with Kent Tekulve, I'm Andy Musser here at Mile High Stadium. The Phillies lead 6-0 as we move to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And once again, Terry Mulholland must face the heart of the order, Bichette, Galarraga, and Hayes. Terry's done a terrific job today, surrendering 3 hits, never more than 1 in any inning. He jammed Bichette, who was 0 for 2. Dante out on a pop-up to short and a ground ball to third. In this ballpark, it would be tough to pitch a better game than Terry Mulholland is turning in today.
And what he has done consistently all day long is pitch inside on the right-handed hitters. You think with that short porch in left field and the way the ball carries.
Foul ball. Our angle looked like that might be fair, didn't it, T?
Just barely foul.
Yeah.
But with the way the ball carries to left field and that short porch out there, and you know, we see in batting practice how far we see the ball just foul. Third base umpire Jim Quick makes the call immediately. But we see the way the balls fly out here to left. You would think a pitcher would have a tendency to shy away from pitching inside on right-handed hitters, but Terry has been consistently in there all day long and has been effective in there. Has been jamming the right-handed hitters.
He hit Tatum, but then picked him off. No harm done there. 0-2. Ooh, tried to drop that breaking ball in for a strike and just missed. 1-2. Bichette batting at .291. Ground ball to short, and it's a base hit. To the left of Batiste, who didn't get as quick a start as he wanted, and a leadoff single. First leadoff hit for the Rockies today.
See the sinker down and away. Kim was shading Bichette just a little bit to the hole. And because he was shading over in that direction, not able to get to that bouncer up the middle. Lenny hustles in quickly and gets the ball back in. So For the third time in the ball game, the Rockies have the leadoff hitter on. The first 2 times, first inning, Eric Young walks. Girardi hits into a double play. Last inning, Tatum gets on by getting hit by a pitch. He gets picked off. So those base runners haven't lasted very long. Now we'll see what happens here with Bichette.
Galarraga was pitched inside on the first pitch and fouled it off. A real jam job. Twice today, Galarraga has grounded to third. Well, Montreal puts some pressure on the Phillies by beating the Cubs today 5-4. Dennis Martinez wins his 3rd game of the year. Inside, a save for John Wetland, his 8th. The losing pitcher was Bobby Scanlon, who is 1-3. The Mets beat Cincinnati 4-3 today. Winning pitcher for New York was Frank Tanana. John Franco got a save. Tim Pugh took the loss. He's 3-5. Line drive caught by Batiste. No chance to double up. Galarraga out on a liner. That's the 2nd line drive Batiste has caught today. The other one off the bat of Charlie Hayes back in the 2nd. The Giants were 6-3 winners at Atlanta this afternoon. Gary Brumett won that ball game, his first. The losing pitcher was Pete Smith. He's 2-4. San Diego was a winner today over St. Louis, 7-4. Greg Harris won it, and Gene Harris saved it. Omar Olivares was the loser. Charlie Hayes 0-2, celebrating his birthday today. Charlie 28, line to short, grounded one back to Terry. Right here, the Phillies hold a 6-0 lead over the Rockies. One American League final today. The Yankees beat the Chicago White Sox 8-2. Jim Abbott won that when he's 4-5. Wilson Alvarez lost it, his first. He's 5-1. 1-1.
I'll tell you what, if you think that the pickoff of Tatum did not have an effect, we get a chance here to take a look at Dante Bichette at first base. That's the lead right there. If he took a dive, he'd end up in the coaching box. He'd be with Ron Hasse from there. So he says, I'm not going to get picked off over here. And it was funny when Terry threw over a couple pitches ago. He used the step off move and threw over there. Even though Bichette had that short lead, he was still kind of stumbling trying to get his feet back on the bag. The message has been delivered.
In for a strike, 2-2. Talking to Charlie before the game, he liked his time in the American League, but he said that those games were, as to quote him, without format. And he said they were too long. That doesn't sound like something a player would say, but that's exactly what he said. He said they had no format to them. He said.
I don't think I've ever heard American League games described quite that way, without format.
Yep. Full count on him. Bichette holds, and Charlie strikes out. He could have taken that for ball 4. That's only Terry's 2nd strikeout.
Ball up, tails away from the strike zone. Charlie almost looked like he swung at it as if he was looking for a breaking ball on a 3-2 count. Maybe that time over the American League caused him to start looking for breaking balls on 3-2 counts.
It's the format he was expecting, huh?
Yeah, wrong format.
Gerald Clark is at the plate. Base hit for him, center field. First time that the Rockies have had 2 hits in the same inning. Bichette stops at 2nd. There are 2 on with 2 outs. Clark is 2 out of 3 now. Here comes Chris Jones. Chris has lined back to Mulholland and singled to center field. The Rockies have 5 hits but no runs. Phillies are up 6-0. Darren Holmes is up in their bullpen again. Should they get to Gary Wayne's spot, there'd be a pinch hitter. Jones helps out.
I think we mentioned at the top of the telecast about Mulholland and the problems with his foot. I think Jim Fregosi has to be very pleased at this point. You'd almost have to think that all those questions have been answered right now. Mulholland out there in the 7th inning, been strong the whole way, has shown no inclination at all to have any type of problem with that foot.
In for a strike with his breaking ball. 0-2 on Jones. Chris is out of Utica, New York. At Colorado Springs, he had 12 home runs, leading the Pacific Coast League. Struck him out. Dalton showed the ball to the ump, and he got it cleanly. Terry's 3rd strikeout. Or did he?
Phillies being called back out.
And I guess he didn't hold it, huh?
Look down to first base umpire Steve Ripley. What Ripley says is that Dalton caught the ball on the short hop. Ron Barnes, the home plate umpire, cannot see it. Now, you saw that he called it, and then immediately, as soon as he looked down at Ripley, Ripley said no, the ball bounced before it got to Dalton.
Here's a bouncing ball to second base. That ought to do it. Play over to first, out just the same. So for the Rockies in the 7th, no runs, 2 hits, they leave them on, and it's still 6-0 Phillies.
A new look Ranger is now at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
No other truck is built for tough.
Ford Ranger, the #1 compact pickup for 6 straight years, has a slick new look inside and out. No wonder Ranger is 93 compact pickup of the year.
It'll set you free.
The hottest new look Ranger Splash just got in town. Hurry, lease a well-equipped 93 Ford Ranger for just $199 per month for 24 months. Now at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
You better hit the ground running in a new Ford truck. Hey.
Something to drink, sir?
Yeah, make it a Bud Light.
Sorry, we just ran out.
Oh. Excuse me.
Bud Light?
Try Flight 261 out of L.A.
Oh, thank you.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Do you have a Bud Light?
Yes. Welcome aboard, sir.
Great. Where are we going?
To soar with eagles, be the best. To win the industry's highest awards for quality, commit to excellence. Provide superior quality products and have the strength to offer them at more than 12,500 locations nationwide. More than any other major brand. Discover for yourself the difference quality can make. Fly with the new superpower.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. By Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages, no other book can match it, a Bell Atlantic company. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery, a participating advertiser in Phillies baseball. Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. We have a big crowd on hand here today. 56,263 total tickets sold. Total for the year here, 1,340,000. Darren Dalton has 2 runs batted in today. Got 1 on a sacrifice fly, the other on a single. He's 1 for 2. And now with 43 runs batted in, he leads the National League.
Interesting you mentioned the attendance, 56,263. What a number. And it actually is going to pull their average down.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they had 58 here last night, and that didn't help. They had been averaging 58.4 coming into last night's game, and they had 58.312. Of course, their average is high because they had 80 here on opening day, so every one of these big crowds will bring it down just a little. Fouled away. You know, their new park is going to seat about 45,000. Now you may wonder why they would build a smaller ballpark. The answer is it was already on the drawing board and partially constructed by the time this tremendous interest in baseball here took off, they never really thought they were going to draw this many people. Dalton strikes out. Gary Wayne gets his first strikeout. He has retired all 4 batters he has faced. You know, the Phillies' last hit in this game came in the 4th inning. We're now in the 8th. And Don Baylor's making a move here. With Chamberlain coming up, he's bringing in the right-hander, Darren Holmes. So it's an inning and a third for Wayne today. And then he departs, certainly not because of anything he didn't do. He retired everybody he faced. But Darren Holmes now comes in the ball game. Pitching change here at Mile High. Phillies lead 6-0. We shall return.
Trouble with heartburn? Well, you could change your job, change your lifestyle, change your diet.
Bon appetit.
Or better still, reach for Rolaids. It absorbs acid fast to bring 100% relief to millions. So maybe you can't change your life, but you can get relief in original and calcium rich. Rolaids spells relief.
And now for the relief pitcher's stats, brought to you by Rolaids. Rolaids spells relief. Well, let's take a look at them, Teak. First, let's go to the American League, where Montgomery and Russell are in a tie right now, with Aguilera right behind.
Got a log jam over there.
If Montgomery hadn't blown 3 of them, he'd have a clear lead.
Point totals in the American League much lower than the point totals in the National League.
Oh, you're skipping ahead, aren't you? Where Mike Stanton is off to a great start. He's blown only 1. And there was a guy that they didn't even know going into spring training would be their closer.
They had open auditions for a closer in spring training. Mike Stanton has stepped forward and just been unbelievable for the Atlanta Braves. Brian Harvey, of course, with the expansion Florida Marlins second, and Randy Myers in 3rd place.
This is Darren Holmes, a right-hander out of Asheville, North Carolina, 27 years of age. Holmes is in his 17th ball game. He's 0-3, but he does have 3 saves, which leads the Colorado staff. The Phillies have a 6-0 lead. Wes Chamberlain, the batter, nobody on base. He just wanted a right-handed pitcher in here to pitch to Chamberlain. West today, fly ball to right, ground ball to short. So he's 0 for 2, plus he has an RBI on a sacrifice fly.
So even though it's the 8th inning, even though the Rockies are trailing by a 6-0 score, Don Baylor still making the moves. He's played enough games here and seen enough runs scored in this ballpark that much like Wrigley Field, no lead is safe. You just have to keep pounding away and pounding away, and as a manager, you just want to keep making the moves to keep your club in position to have a chance to win a ball game. So Baylor has definitely not given up in this ball game yet. And the Phillies have to also have that same focus. It's not over till it's over in this ballpark.
And as we mentioned earlier, the Phillies have not done much here lately. Chamberlain takes a pitcher's pitch. He wasn't going to hit that no matter what he did. Phillies last scored in the 4th inning, and that's the last inning in which they had a hit. The last hit for the Phillies was Kruk's 2-out single in the 4th.
Since then, the Rockies have retired 11 straight Phillies.
Not this time. 2-2. West with 4 runs batted in the series so far. Got 3 of them last night. Darren Holmes comes in to strike out Wes Chamberlain. So Wayne struck out the first batter in the inning, and now Holmes comes on with a strikeout.
And Holmes just staying on the outside part of the plate. Joe Girardi goes and sits on the outside part of the plate, refusing to give Chamberlain anything at all on the inside to pull.
Here's Thompson. Milt nothing out of 3 today. Has not gotten the ball out of the infield yet. It's low. Ball 1 on Thompson. Milt hitting at 227. One game in Atlanta this year, Thompson threw out 2 runners at the plate. Bat handle pop back as shortstop. Liriano is there. Makes the play, and down go the Phillies. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Down in order 4 innings a row, but they still lead 6-0.
Major League Baseball Home Video presents...
We're back!
Now it can be heard, the sounds of baseball. This is the baseball video that puts you on the field to hear the game as never before.
They said we got to take the lead right here. Take the lead. First inning.
You're going to put him in jail?
No, I'm not going to put him in jail.
Straighten the bat back. He never goes. It up? He's not taking him.
The guy standing in front of the plate. Tommy, wait a minute.
Host Tommy Lasorda takes you behind the closed doors to reveal the secret strategy in team meetings and some Major League Clubhouse practical jokes. Plus, candid moments with today's superstars. Now it can be heard.
Yeah.
Do you want to order?
Yeah.
Well, to order, send check or money order to this address. Or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
May I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'll have a Coca-Cola.
You sure you want a Coke?
Yeah, I want a Coke.
Okay, pal.
How did you order a Coke? It tastes good.
I didn't care if it was a Coke. You just
I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola.
Need a drink, sir?
I'll just have a...
You'll just have a...
I'll just have a Coke.
Ooh.
Here that guy's a Coca-Cola. See ya, pal.
Oh.
It's a replica of a 1933 Phillies cap, free for men 15 and over. Compliments of Texaco when the Phillies play the new Florida Marlins Sunday, June 20th at 1:35. Great way to cap off a weekend. Call 463-1000.
Jim Eisenreich takes over in right field for the Phillies as we move to the bottom half of the 8th inning. A game led by the Phils 6-0. Danny Schaefer is in the on-deck circle to hit for Darren Holmes. The leadoff hitter will be Nelson Liriano, and then we'll get a look at Schaefer, who did not appear in last night's ball game. Liriano takes a strike. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Terry Mulholland has had things just about his own way. Bryn Smith, veteran right-hander in the Colorado Rockies bullpen. Very few balls off Mulholland today have been solidly hit. A lot of toppers, a lot of lazy fly balls, just a few liners. One and 2. Two and 2. Happy birthday today to Vince Daly of Ocean City, New Jersey. Vince is celebrating number 80, and our sincere congratulations. Three balls and 2 strikes on Liriano. Poked it right to Kruk. A line drive. It would have been ball 4-2, but Liriano lines out. And now we'll look at Danny Schaefer. Schaefer has a good average, 290. A homer representing his only RBI. He hasn't been used as a pinch hitter very often. He's 0 for 3. On May 20th, Schaefer hit a home run at San Diego. It was the first one he'd hit since he hit one for Boston off Chris Bosio, then with Milwaukee in his second big league at bat back in April of 1987. Schaefer had gone 120 at-bats in between, spending the bulk of that time in the minor leagues. Schaefer is 31 years of age. Signed with Colorado as a 6-year minor league free agent. He's been in the big leagues with Boston, Cleveland, and now the Rockies.
And normally you will not see managers use their backup catcher as a pinch hitter. Baylor's going to be in a position here where his backup catcher is going to be out of the ball game here in a minute, but because of the fact that the Rockies use a 12-man pitching staff, Mickey comes in and makes the play over the first. Schaefer's retired. But because the Rockies have a 12-man pitching staff, Baylor only has 5 players on his bench. So, that backup catcher has to be used as a pinch hitter, because if you take him out of the mix, then you've only got 4 guys to use off that bench. So Baylor, for the 4th time this season, using his backup catcher in a pinch hitting role.
Base is empty with 2 outs, and Eric Young will bat. Eric is 1 for 2 plus a walk today. Terry struck him out the last time up there. This is truly an amazing feat by Terry Mulholland to have a no-hitter in the 8th inning at Mile High. Excuse me, shutout in the 8th inning at Mile High Stadium. That really would be amazing, wouldn't it? No-hitter, but to not give up anything, because we saw here last night what can happen in this ballpark. Right to Mulholland. Terry makes the play. And a 1-2-3 inning. Down go the Rockies, and we're heading to the 9th inning of a game the Phillies lead 6-0.
In a game rich with traditions, Sherwin-Williams has created one of its own by preserving and protecting the national shrines of our national pastime. This is the paint of the pros. And it's the choice of millions of fans at home. And while your town may not have a big league ballpark in it, it does have a big league paint store. The pros know. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
You can feel it deep inside. You're the one with a real sense of pride, and you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your. Proud to be your bud.
For the first time ever, the expansion Florida Marlins come to the Fed Thursday, June 17th and Friday, June 18th. Then the Upper Deck Heroes play Saturday, June 19th before the Marlins game. And it's a free vintage 1933 baseball cap for all men, Sunday, June 20th at 1:35. Order your tickets in advance. Call 463-1000.
Phillies' next homestand includes the Rockies and the Astros beginning on Friday, June 4th. A 3-game series which has photo night Saturday and beach towel day Sunday. Then the first visit of the Astros Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, June 7, 8, and 9. All 3 of them at 7:35. So call the Phillies ticket office at 463-1000 to get your seats, or you can visit the Mellon PSFS Phillies ticket office at Broad and Chestnut Street. New pitcher for the Rockies today, Teak, an old friend of ours, Bryn Smith.
Bryn Smith, the veteran, making his 10th appearance of the season. 2 wins, 3 losses, no saves, a rather high 875 earned run average. Bryn started out the season in the Rockies rotation, made 4 starts, has since been moved to their bullpen. Been pitching out of the bullpen for the last couple of weeks for the Rockies. And you talk about guys that are just class acts around the game of baseball. Bryn Smith, Montreal, St. Louis, now with the Rockies. Has gone through some adversity, had some arm problems, but just one of the really class guys. You like to see guys like this being able to stay around the game and be a part of Major League Baseball.
Bryn right now is coming off a hamstring injury which has slowed him down. You ever play golf with him, Teak? He's a good one.
Yeah, he can hook the ball when he wants to. That's how you know good players at golf. The guys that can hook the ball when they want to. Those are good players.
Meantime, a combination of Rocky pitchers has retired 13 straight Philadelphians. Batiste leads off the 9th. Kim is 0 for 3 in the ball game. Terry Mulholland out on deck to bat. The last Philly to get a hit was John Kruk. 2-run single in the 4th inning that made it 6-0. Little jam job pop up. The cat retreats and says, "Let me take it," and he does. He holds off Young. Batista's out on a shallow pop-up for the first out of the ninth. Well, it's been an all-around good day for Terry Mulholland, as he has pitched an outstanding ball game here, and he's also picked up his first hit of the year. He's 1 for 3 as he strolls up there to the plate.
Got a
Ben
base
Rivera, the winner here last night, Teak.
Got a base hit the last time up and smoked the ball to left field. Or he got a hit 2 times ago and smoked the ball to left field the last time up. Big Ben. Give him a little nod to the camera. These guys know when they're on the camera.
It's part of training to be a major leaguer.
That's right.
Got to know when you're on stage.
Know when that light's on.
Well, he's 0-2 here.
Brennan was sitting down in the bullpen. He saw him hit that inside fastball the last time. He said, let's fit him out with this little breaking ball away.
Here's a bouncer to Young. Gets a funny hop. Flips it over to first. He knew Terry wasn't really digging down there with that foot. So that's the second out, and we've got 15 in a row retired. Let's see what Lenny can do about that. Dykstra 1 for 3, but Lenny has struck out twice today, and that in itself is headline news.
That is a story. Last time looking.
Dykstra's a .299 lifetime hitter off Bryn Smith, including a home run. Lenny has 20 hits off Bryn, 20 for 67. Tommy will be the pitcher tomorrow in green with the league's best ERA, 1.98, and the league's best opponent batting average, 179, is all hitters are getting off him these days.
Tommy has to feel a little better about his chances tomorrow after seeing Terry Mulholland go out today and pitch the ball game that he's been pitching. When you come into a new stadium and the first game you see was one like last night, all of a sudden all the pitchers go run and hide in the clubhouse somewhere. They're hiding looking for cover.
And he fouls it off. I wanted to ask you, T, can a right-hander like Tommy Green learn anything from watching a left-hander like Mulholland today?
Well, I don't think Tommy's going to alter his style, and they're two completely different styles of pitching. Tommy has, well, I think if he learned anything, he learned that, you can pitch effectively in this ballpark.
The 1-2 to Dykstra. Bryn Smith floats it up there, but misses outside, 2-2.
And what I mean by pitching effectively in this ballpark is that if you stay with your game plan and do what you do best and do it well, then you can get by. It's just not automatic that you're going to get your brains beat out when you come in here.
Here's a ball hit in the air to left field. Going over is Clark. Camps and makes the catch. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. 16 in a row retired, but the Phillies lead 6-0.
To solve a murder, he stepped into the dead man's shoes.
Spencer have a first name? He called himself Bob. Officially, I don't exist. Here you go.
He followed the trail to White Sands.
This is about creating enemies when there aren't any.
I don't ever get involved in these kinds of deals.
Give $500,000 to a man you don't even know? Where truth is the ultimate disguise.
I've never met anyone like you. You're honest. Even when you're lying.
Willem Dafoe, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and Mickey Rourke. White Sands, the most dangerous place to be.
You gotta hit the ground running. The big Ford pickup. It's the #1 truck in the world. Now F-Series pickups come with the best roadside service program available. Preferred Care, with 24-hour, 7-day-a-week assistance, all at no extra charge. Plus, you can qualify for an extra $500 cash back if you work for a business or own a business. Your savings total $1,800. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer today. You better hit the ground running in a new Ford truck.
It's a really big and colorful beach towel, free for kids 14 and under. Courtesy of Mellon PSFS, Sunday, June 6th at 1:35 when the Phillies play the all-new Colorado Rockies. Reserve your tickets in advance. Call 463-1000.
Ninth inning at Mile High Stadium, 6-0 Phillies. Girardi takes ball one as Terry Mulholland tries to get a shutout. There's a ball to third. Hollins takes his time. There's one out. Girardi grounds out, and Mulholland needs just two more. Well, if you've enjoyed the Phillies today, keep on watching. Here are the upcoming Phillies telecasts. Tomorrow on PHL 17, again against these Rockies at 3. Monday, the Phils open a series at Cincinnati, and they'll be on PHL 17 Monday and Tuesday evenings, each at 7:30. Dante Bichette, the batter. He is 1 for 3. Foul on a play down the right side. Terry Mulholland has given up 5 hits. He walked one. The one was the leadoff batter in the ballgame. Looked like it was going to be a long day. Coming out with a foot problem, walked Eric Young on 4 pitches, but Young ran himself into a double play when Girardi grounded to second, and Terry Mulholland's been in pretty much complete control ever since. Here's a looper into shallow right center. That'll fall for a base hit for Bichette. He has his second straight hit. Hit number 6 for the Rockies, and the big cat coming up, Galarraga. Galarraga just back in the lineup last night after a stint on the DL. Got back in there with 2 hits, including an RBI double. He drove in 2 runs in the game last night. And no doubt the Rockies really missed his offense. He chased it. Strike 1 on Galarraga. Ground ball to short. Batiste shovels one back to first. A double play. And the first shutout this year at Mile High Stadium. The Rockies haven't had one, and no opponent has had one, but Terry Mulholland does it today. His 9th career shutout and his first since July 31st of last year at Montreal. An outstanding job by Terry Mulholland. He gets congratulations all the way around as the Phillies win this one 6-0. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel.
Fans are often impressed with the stats of their favorite players. But believe me, the most valuable players are the ones who work hard every day to create a positive team attitude. The same is true about school. Most valuable students attend class every day with a positive attitude. On May 26th, IBM, the Phillies, and Prism will honor 700 hardworking kids in the IBM Philadelphia Phillies Student Pennant Race. As chairman of the IBM Student Pennant Race, I want to congratulate these kids and all students who work hard to do their personal best.
I never noticed it growing up, but my parents were kind of old. But they were cool, because whenever us kids got bored, they'd do anything to entertain us. Gee, if we only had Prism, Pop wouldn't have to walk with that limp.
Love great entertainment? Then look to Prism for over 100 different movies a month. Hits like Lethal Weapon 3 and Batman Returns. To order Prism, dial 1-800-CABLE-ME. Call now and get $4.95 installation or a free upgrade plus 2 free Phillies tickets.
You wouldn't believe the stuff Mom would do when we were really bored.
Trouble with heartburn? Well, you could change your job, change your lifestyle, change your diet.
Bon appetit.
Or better still, reach for Rolaids. It absorbs acid fast to bring 100% relief to millions. So maybe you can't change your life, but you can get relief in original and calcium-rich. Rolaids spells relief.
Along with 50 other standard amenities, the Nissan Maxima GXE has a keyless entry system on the door. This system allows you to unlock doors, open the trunk, and even open windows automatically. But if you think the door is impressive, just imagine what's behind it. Now you can lease a Maxima for just $1,000 down and $269 a month for 24 months.
Terry Mulholland pitches the first shutout at Mile High Stadium, and the Phillies have won the first 2 games in this series. Outstanding job for him. Darren Daulton knocked in 2 runs today to take the league lead in RBIs. Wes Chamberlain also knocked in another, and John Kruk had a big 2-out single to drive in a pair of runs in a 6-0 victory for the Phillies. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 4 men left on for the Phillies. No runs, 6 hits, no errors, and 4 left for the Rockies. Our Texaco star of the game today, Terry Mulholland, who won his 6th game. Terry getting his first shutout of the year and his league-leading 4th complete game. Terry's 51st career victory here today, a 6-hit shutout of the Colorado Rockies. Well, it would be hard to imagine anybody pitching a better ball game than Terry Mulholland did here today. He was simply outstanding. And he had his first pickoff of the year. I'm sure he'll talk about that a lot.
Well, his first pickoff of the year, and a lot of questions going into the ball game. Number one, the foot. How was it going to hold up? That question was answered in spades. No problem at all with the foot. Terry, 9 strong innings. You come into this ballpark, and we saw the game last night. How the ball flies here, the light air. What do? You try to keep the ball out of the air. The entire ball game, all 27 outs in this ball game defensively for the Phillies were made by the infielders and by Terry himself. So, that's how you pitch in this ballpark. If the ball carries well in the air, don't let him hit it in the air. He did a great job.
That's a stat that wasn't previously mentioned on this telecast, right?
No, I started keeping track of it actually about the 3rd inning. I was keeping them on my scorecard here, but I didn't want to mention it because we've been known to black cat people every now and then. So I didn't mention it all during the ball game, but was keeping track of it. And Terry was just outstanding today in complete control of the Colorado Rockies.
And we might also mention that he got his first hit of the year. He was 0 for 20 when he came to the plate. Got himself an infield single, and then the next time up hit one even harder. So all the way around, Terry Mulholland is certainly our star of the game today. An outstanding job by Mr. Mo. Phillies baseball on Sports Channel was brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you to please drink responsibly because friends know when to say when. By your local Sherwin-Williams paint stores, the pros know, ask Sherwin-Williams, a participating sponsor of Major League Baseball. By Mellon PSFS, the official bank of the Phillies. By Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages, no other book can match it, a Bell Atlantic company. By Texaco System 3 gasolines in every grade, System 3 helps restore performance to older cars. By Coca-Cola, it's always Coca-Cola. By Cento Fine Italian Foods, the company that says trust your family with our family. By Independence Blue Cross and Pennsylvania Blue Shield, carry us for life. Our next Phillies game here on Sports Channel will be Wednesday, June 2nd. That'll be from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The Phillies take on Davy Johnson's Cincinnati Reds at 7:30 here on Sports Channel. And coming up next on Sports Channel, Sports Writers on TV already in progress. And then at 6 o'clock, Bob Mann's Golf Dynamics.
A fabulous Jules Jurgensen watch. Jules Jurgensen, creator of fine timepieces since 1740 and winner of 32 international awards.